Back tonight on In Focus, another court battle lost by suspended public protector. Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane, High Court in Bisho, has set aside Mkhwebane's report and recommendations against Premier Oscar Mabuyane and former Public Works MEC Babalo Madikizela. Judge Jannie Eksteen ordered that the report relating to the Winnie Madikizela-Mandela's funeral in April 2018 be set aside with costs. The judge says the report was inconsistent with the country's constitution. For more on that and reaction, we are speaking now to the spokesperson of the Premier, Khuselwa Rantjie. Khuselwa, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time tonight on In Focus. First and foremost, how did the Premier receive this particular judgment?
The Premier has received the judgment very well. He welcomed it, and he feels that he has been vindicated because he has said that or the reason that he needed to bring this to the attention of the courts was the fact that he felt that the public protector and her office had overlooked certain things, in particular the representations that he had made to that office. So he does welcome their judgment at this stage.
Yeah. So the Premier up until this point has been very consistent in the message that he himself has not been involved in any fraud or corruption. However, this matter arises from a complaint that was made by Olile Mashukuka. And there was a complaint with regards to the monies that were doing the rounds in that municipality that needed to be investigated. Does the Premier have concerns, particularly around those dealings and whether or not they should continue to be investigated, even though he has been vindicated himself in being involved in any wrongdoing?
Of course, the Premier has been very vocal in terms of speaking against any acts of corruption, be it in the province, the municipalities, or any organ of state, and therefore he will continue to make sure that he is vocal about that message, and also to make sure that he talks to his colleagues within the province and elsewhere to encourage them to stick to the law whenever they are conducting the work of government in the province. And I think that's the most important thing thus far that we require from the leader of the province. And we will continue going forward to engage all relevant players in the province to make sure that everyone does everything by the book. So it's important, therefore, Thabo, that we do say that he will continue to support any efforts, be it through the state or law enforcement agencies or through the courts, to make sure that all acts of fraud and corruption are dealt with in the province.
Yeah. As a Premier himself, has he received any report into actually what happened in the Mizane local municipality as per the complaint that was brought by one of the residents there?
Remember, Thabo, that the Premier has also been the subject of that particular investigation, and therefore he would not have been exposed to other aspects of that on that condition, and therefore I think it would be one of the things that we need to look at currently to weigh in whether there were indeed some acts of corruption and what is it that the municipality has done, and through the Department of Local Government and Cooperative Governance, and you will have to perhaps look into those issues and to just also check whether indeed the issues that were raised by the complainant were issues that require follow-up, or it was issues that were about hearsay. And therefore, I think that's where things are at this stage, and we will just await all those processes and see how this moves forward.
Yeah. Speaking of law enforcement institutions and the instruments of justice, there was confusion on whether or not an investigation was carried out by the Hawks, and that investigation on the Premier now has been handed to the NPA. Has that investigation been stopped, and does this particular judgment in the Premier's interpretation give effect to whatever investigations that could have been carried out on him being stopped?
I think the investigation by the Hawks was a result of the report from the public protector. I think it was one of the aspects that she recommended be dealt with going forward to get deeper into the matter. At this stage, our understanding is that puts that particular investigation on the side. However, both the Hawks and the NPA will be best placed to give details in terms of how they will take the matter forward, if they will be moving forward with it.
Yeah. Is the Premier worried at all about the perception that others are beginning to raise of political influence in how this judgment was reached?
Look, the judgment, our understanding is that the judicial officers applied their mind in terms of the facts that were put into or in front of them, and there was no particular or political influence in terms of that aspect. What has been a worrying factor for the Premier is the fact that the whole process on its own had brought about some anxiety in terms of his family and as well as himself, and it has also brought on some negative perceptions about him and those impacted the office that he currently holds. So that was his major worry in terms of this whole issue. That's why at this stage he does feel that he has been vindicated and he looks forward to going forward with his work, focusing on the work of building the Eastern Cape and making sure that it brings about change in terms of the lives of the people of the province.
Now, I don't think it's a process that is generally followed by the public protector, but I'll ask anyway, has there been word from the public protector to the Premier on whether or not they'll be challenging this judgment, or has the Premier heard anything about whether or not the public protector would want to take this judgment maybe to a higher court that could reach a different conclusion?
Not at this stage, Thabo. I have not heard anything from that office.
Yeah, and should that be the case, is the Premier still willing, I suppose, to take it further to wherever it would possibly eventually end?
As I've said, Thabo, the Premier is focused on making or on ensuring that any issue that relates to fraud and corruption, be it a perception in the province, is followed through. And therefore, on that basis, he will cooperate with law enforcement agencies or any court of law that would want to further engage him on the matter.
Khuselwa Rantjie, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on. That is Khuselwa speaking on behalf of the Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane, following the Eastern Cape High Court setting aside the Public Protector's report and recommendations against the Premier and former MEC Babalo Madikizela. Judge Jannie Eksteen saying that he found that the particular report was not in keeping with the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. To use the exact word, was inconsistent with the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa.